This is a short video to explain how the international shipping freight charges operate inside a division. The first thing we'll do is create a new sales order. Hit enter once to get the number and enter the customer number, an external document number, and the order type. Now that we've got that information, we can go to the shipping section and review the customer's ship to information. For the international freight to work, it has to be shipping to a country where we have set up international freight rates. So I'm going to select DE as an example. It also has to be shipping from a European warehouse. So we'll select D for DEEU. DE stands for Germany. And a third criteria is it has to be a prepaid shipment. It cannot be a third party, obviously, or the freight won't charge. One other criteria that I'll enter is Euro. And now I'm ready to enter the sales lines. I go to the first item line and pick an item. Now I have a winch on this order for a customer shipping out of the German warehouse, shipping into the country designated as DE or Germany. At this point, I can go to the Action tab, find the icon for WS Create Freight Line quote, and click that, and I get Export Freight added to the order. The second part of this video is to explain how this 100 is developed for people who are involved in setup and controlling these rates. First of all, one area of setup needs to be in the country region table. I can get there by going through any country to the advance. And now I have the country region table. I need to pick the countries that I want to have this freight work in. Once I pick that country, I go to Navigate, Freight Charges. That's going to bring up a screen where it can allow me to enter the kilos, which is the weight for the order, and the amount that we're going to charge, which it will be the euros, because all of the transactions for this warehouse are in euros. The second point of setup is in the location table. And I can see all of our warehouse locations. You can see that DE has Calculate International Freight is checked yes, and International Location checked yes. Those two criteria are required for any location to be able to calculate an international freight charge. Another variable that needs to be set is actually in the inventory setup. In the inventory setup, we find this dim freight calc denominator. We have it set at 130. That is to help us calculate out dimensional versus actual weight. The way that an item calculates how much it's going to charge is by looking at the order's total weight. To figure that out, it takes the billable weight from the item multiplied by the quantity for each line, and then it adds those weights together for every line. Now, what is a billable weight? Billable weight is the greater of either the dimensional weight or the actual weight. So if I go into an item card and I scan down to freight, I can see the billable weight for this is 87.23. That billable weight is determined by taking the length times width times height divided by 130. The 130 is what we had in that inventory setup. If that value is greater than the actual weight of the item, billable weight will be that value determined by the equation. And if dimensional weight actually turns out to be less than the actual weight, then billable weight is the actual weight. In order to drive the billable weight, we have two options. One is I can enter a billable weight here. That variable is set by our logistics manager when we come across an item that costs more to ship in Germany than what the billable weight will bill. In that case, the billable weight kilograms can be manually overridden, and then there's hold weight kilos can be checked. If that's the case, this item will hold whatever value has been manually entered here, and therefore give that item the correct amount of weight to get the correct amount of billing in euros. And if we want to let the system generate it, we don't hold it, and we go to Navigate, Unit of Measure. That will pull up the Item Unit of Measure table, in which we keep our dimensions. In this table, we can edit the dimensions by measuring the product, and in this case, I'm updating the standard inches and pounds. But by updating the standard inches and pounds, the system has automatically updated the metric centimeters and kilos. These values are now what the system will use to determine whether the item goes by dimensional weight or by actual weight. But either case, once the logic determines this, it will place that value that should be used inside of the billable weight column. And that's how it determines the actual weight per item.